3 new bishops are introduced at the Bishops' Conference in Baltimore this week, including Bishop Robert Barron. Known for his Word on Fire ministries, Bishop Barron is now an auxiliary in the Archdiocese of Los Angeles. Catherine Szeltner sat down with him today.
Bishop Barron, as the conference is going on, the world is shocked and mourning over Friday's terror attack. Can you offer some guidance as to how should Catholics respond? How should we be reacting?
It was especially poignant to me because I studied in Paris for 3 years. As I watched the pictures, I recognized those streets and some of those shops in the corner. So it was very moving to me and poignant to me. You know, what's the response? We worship a crucified Lord. And so in a certain way, violence and the response to violence is at the very heart of Christian faith. Our Lord, who took on the violence of the world, took on sin and dysfunction and swallowed it up in the ever greater divine mercy. That's the Christian approach to violence, not to fight it so much on its own terms, though I think at times that's the only thing we can do, hence our just war theory. But the basic approach, I think, is to respond to violence with love, with nonviolence, with mercy, and thereby don't fight fire with fire, but fight fire with its opposite, fight hatred with love. So that means prayer, that means a witness, that means the nonviolent stance, both in your personal life and publicly. Those are all ways that we respond.
And as faithful, we always try and see tragedy within God's greater plan, but for those who don't have faith, how do we even engage in conversation about tragedy and about suffering?
Well, I mean, in some ways I think it's okay for us to witness out of our faith, and we don't hide that, we're not ashamed of it. We think it has an attractive power. So precisely by drawing people into that vision of things, we can evangelize them, you know. So I think by our own reaction to violence in a Christian way, we evangelize. Having said that, I think we can point to how dysfunctional it is to respond to violence in a sort of hyper hate-filled or violent way. We can point out the fact that it tends not to work, you know. That might be a way to reach out to those who don't have the faith, but I think the basic stance is to witness to the faith and to make it attractive to people.
And speaking about evangelizing, this time of year families are spending a lot more time together. During the holidays, how can Catholics bring back our family members who have fallen away from the church without it getting too tense around the dinner table?
Yeah, it's a great question, and in some ways it's the number one concern of Catholics. As you talk to parents, the grandparents, the number one preoccupation is, how do we get our kids back? Also, the rather disturbing statistics, you know, for every one person that joins the Catholic faith, 6.5 are leaving. And that means that around those Thanksgiving tables, there will be a lot of people who have abandoned the faith. I'll say 2 just simple things. One is, I think, obviously proselytizing and finger wagging and blaming is probably not a constructive strategy. I think that quiet witness is very powerful. And I would say, so not proselytizing, but having made the quiet witness, I think it's okay in a non-threatening way to ask a question about your relationship to the faith, you know? Not again threatening or blaming, but asking, let's say, a child or a grandchild about their relationship with the church. And maybe a gentle encouragement to come back. That's okay. But the main thing is to witness. Let them see the power the faith has in your own life.
Well, Bishop, thank you for your witness. It's so good to speak with you.
God bless you. Thanks.